Okay, welcome back to another Let's Do Lunch, our monthly program hosted by AARP Florida and Elder Source. I'm Linda Levin, CEO of Elder Source, the area agency on aging and the Aging and Disability Resource Center for Northeast Florida.
Hi, I'm Justine Conley, Associate State Director for AARP First Coast. And each month, Elder Source, and we team up with Elder Source to bring you educational and sometimes entertaining topics. We have fun, and we try to help you stay informed and healthy, and bring you all kinds of tips. And so, it is our pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you, Justine. Go ahead. Hi. We're sorry, romance scams. I got all distracted by the topic. So, romance scams are increasing among older adults. And the holidays can be a time when people start reaching out to each other for company and companionship, and may feel that they're vulnerable to these romance scam artists. So, this month's Let's Do Lunch topic focused specifically on how to recognize and avoid being scammed by online dating and other tactics used to swindle older adults. And joining us today is Kim Caskey with the national nonprofit called Cybercrime Support Network. Welcome, Kim.
Welcome,
Thank,
welcome.
thank you. Thank you both for having me here today.
So, Kim, we're going to get started with just a basic question. So, why are older adults targets for these kinds of scams? Just to start there.
Sure. So, older adults are often targeted for romance scams for several reasons. One reason may be that they are viewed as having some financial funds available. So perhaps they have a 501k, they might have a retirement check that's coming in each month, they've got their Social Security coming in each month. They generally tend to have good credit, they may own their own home. They may have the ability to take out a reverse mortgage or apply for a loan once convinced to do so. And so they're targeted financially for those reasons. And also, particularly during the pandemic, the isolation that they may be feeling. So they may be out there online trying to communicate with friends and family who are far away. And having that online presence can make them a target as well. They may have recently had the death of a parent or a spouse, making them a target as well.
Linda, mute. Yes.
I still have not learned to turn off the mute button during all this time. You think by now. So, Kim, what are some of the various ways older adults are contacted by these scammers?
So one of the ways that most people think that they're contacted would be going on a dating site. And they may be choosing a dating site to have, meet someone, have companionship, friendship. They may feel as though the dating site that they chose was safe, maybe something based for older adults. It could be a popular site. It could be a local dating site. But of course, any dating site has scam artists lurking, putting up fake profiles. And then they also may be just on playing Words with Friends or Scrabble. And somebody, is playing with them for a while, and then they start to chat and they become friends. And over a period of time, either that friendship turns to a romance, or they're being asked to give them some money based on a sob story, something that's happening in their life. They can also be just friended on social media, on Facebook. They might be on, and somebody sends them a friend request, and they check. And sometimes people check, sometimes people don't. But let's say you check, and this person is also friends with, another friend of yours. So you think, well, that's okay. They're okay. And so you become friends with them, and then that can develop into a romantic relationship or just a confidence scam.
So we do know that there are things to look out for and red flags. So what are some of the things that people need to look out for?
Sure. So, if you are going on a dating site, be careful of the information that you're putting on. Less is definitely more. So, put on very little information about yourself. People, criminals, scam artists are looking for vulnerabilities. They're looking for someone who maybe just had a spouse that passed, been through a tough situation, lost their job, lost a parent. And so when you're going on putting a lot of information about yourself, you could be opening yourself up to someone looking for perhaps a vulnerability, or they may come expressing the same interests that you have. So they do some research on you. What do you like? Are you a gardener? Do you have a rescue pet? And so they can approach you in that manner. Was your spouse who passed away an architect in construction, had served in the military? What kind of groups do you support? What kind of nonprofits do you donate to? And so they can come at you from many different ways. So sharing the least amount of information is best, in doing your own screening rather than giving your information out for somebody to screen you. And so in addition to that, being careful when you're on social media, being very cognizant of the friends that you're selecting when you're on social media, making sure that the information that you're sharing isn't oversharing. We all want to share milestones in our life, but just be cognizant that sometimes you're giving away personal information without even realizing it. But watch out for those friend requests. Just because they're friends with someone else, it's not always a bad thing to reach out to that friend and say, hey, do you know so-and-so? Because they sent me a friend request. So just be careful in who you're requesting. Just because you're playing a game with someone online for 6 months doesn't mean that that's a person that you can trust.
I just want to say something real quick, Linda, is I often am on Facebook and I get requests from friends I'm already friends with.
Yep.
And or I get a request from, they'll start to talk to me like somebody that I know, but it's a scam. And they start right away with, did you hear about this? And so the romance, I think, starts the same way, and just being aware of it.
Absolutely. Did you hear about, the grants they're giving out for $200,000? And, right. It's too good to be true. No one's giving out anyone $200,000, but that's your first red flag, right? So I always contact the person directly and say, hey, are you sending me a picture? Are you texting me something from Facebook? Are you asking me about a grant? No, I got hacked. Don't. So it's always good to just go directly to the person and ask them.
Yeah. Same thing if they're sending a second, it looks like another friend request. I always go back. I'm like, wait a minute, we're already friends. So I let them know, I got a new friend request from you. And they're like, oh, yeah. So I never accept those, certainly not without checking. And the same thing on emails, Justine, when you said that they use this in Facebook or other platforms, bringing up these familiarities, the emails that I get with, they know a friend or a family member who's in need, and they just use that information. They get it, they use it, and I'm like, no, that person, first of all, would never do that. And before I do anything, I always go check on my own. But anyway, those are really good tips. Kim, are there other things people could do to protect themselves from being approached by a scammer?
Sure. So being aware that if you are going to share something like a parent that just passed, or an inheritance that you just received. When you do share that and then you're approached by a stranger at the same time who suddenly wants to be friends with you, I mean, that's a red flag. Pay attention to what you're posting and what the person is then asking you about. So if you just posted something about your spouse and the job that they used to have, and then the person, oh, I'm an architect too, that's a red flag. So just really being cognizant of that, and paying attention to your privacy settings on your social media sites and on your devices, and just being aware that I always say to someone, you wouldn't leave your house unlocked and put a big sign on your front lawn, just redid the kitchen with, just got this inheritance money and redid the kitchen. Come on in and see. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to the grocery store. So, right, you wouldn't do that. And so our phones and our laptops, all of these devices, don't leave the door open and let someone in. And so just being cognizant of what you're sharing is really one of the most important things you can do. And if someone is messaging you, whether it be on a dating site or another platform, and they immediately want to get off of that platform and move you to something else, that's a very big sign, because these scam artists, these criminals, go on and off of these sites creating these fake profiles. They want to get off as quickly as possible because they don't want to get noticed. So they have two things that they want to accomplish. One, get themselves off as fast as possible, and two, isolate you. So get you off the dating sites. You're not talking to anyone else, and no one else is communicating with you about, hey, this might be a fishy person. This happened to me. So isolate you from your friends and family, which is a common tactic. And then also getting you right off of that site so that they don't get tagged as being a scam artist. Sometimes they'll even go so far as to say, I was hacked, so I need to get off and talk to you over here. Anytime somebody wants to talk to you on another platform that fast, there's a problem.
That's a good point.
So that goes right into my next question. So I understand that a lot of people are reluctant to talk to the authorities or turn people in or talk to their families about it because they're embarrassed, or they don't want to look like I was taken advantage of, and so I don't want to tell anybody. So what can a person do? Where do they report a romance scam or any other kind of scam for that matter? And do you think these people ever get caught?
Sure. So the first thing I want to say is many times, almost all the time, people feel stupid, right? They're angry at themselves. I was so careful my whole life. I don't know how this person got in my head. I was in a vulnerable position. And so it can happen to any of us at any time. And the first thing I would say is you're not stupid, because the people who are perpetrating these criminal acts are very, very talented. They go to work each day stealing people's money. That's what they do. And they are unscrupulous about it. So it can happen to anyone, and it happens to a lot of people, so anyone can be approached. So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say, we do hear a lot about people being embarrassed to speak to friends, loved ones, or even go to the police or their bank. And that can be very difficult. But there are sites out there that can help you. Law enforcement is there to help you. There are places to report. So first, I would say, don't be embarrassed, because it can happen to anyone. Don't feel stupid. If you do have this happen to you and you don't have someone that you can speak to, a friend or family member that you can bounce it off of, talk to about it, there are places you can go. For one thing, you can go to our website, fightcybercrime.org, and you can follow the prompts to any type of scam, any type of cybercrime. In this case, you would go to imposter scam. You would go to romance scam after imposter scam, and it's going to break that right down for you, tell you exactly what you need to do, your action steps that you need to take, things that you can do to reinforce, and where you can report. And so we talk about where can you report. So there'll be some hyperlinks right there on the website that will take you right to, for example, the FBI IC3 form for you, so you don't have to search for that. And we have all the hyperlinks on there that will take you to wherever you need to go. But to report, you can use the FBI. You can use your local FBI field office by contacting them by going to fbi.gov. You can use ic3.gov, which is the Internet Crime Complaint Center for the FBI, where you fill out the form and you submit it. Go to your local police department. There's nothing wrong with going to your local police. Sometimes you might even get an investigation, done and quickly at your local police. Your local attorney general's office. You can go to the Elder Fraud Unit or the Consumer Protection Unit in your attorney general's office. They can also take a report from you. And Secret Service field offices have victim service providers there that work specifically with people who have been victims of romance scams, as well as your postal inspector. So you've got a lot of options. Also, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, can take a report for you. And one of the places you can go that can help you walk you through, for example, filling out your IC3 form, is the National Elder Fraud Hotline.
Mhm.
They do have people who answer the phone, and they will help you fill out that form.
So, Kim, I want to remind our viewers that if they have a question for you, to please post it, and we will read them and get answers. And as a matter of fact, we have one question already from a viewer. My great aunt fell for the grandparent scam. Is there a way to get back the money from a victim fund?
Wow. Good question.
Well, so yeah, it's a great question. And each state is a little bit different. We are seeing some states that are using victim relief funds, particularly for elder fraud.
Okay.
That is something to check out. Your victim relief fund. I would contact maybe your attorney general's office, elder fraud unit, and see if they can assist you with that. Not every state has that, but it is becoming something that we're starting to see out there. It's difficult to get your money back once it's been wired or put in a package through FedEx or dropped into a Bitcoin account that was later emptied. It's very hard for law enforcement to follow that trail that oftentimes will lead, if they're able to follow it, will lead out of the country, sometimes to countries that aren't working with the United States on these scams. So the sooner you realize that it's a scam, the more chance you have. So let's say you wired something and within 24 hours you realized I should not have sent this money. You have a greater probability of getting that money back than if 2 months had passed since you wired that, because it's a very small window where the bank or law enforcement will be able to stop it.
Okay. So, Kim, while we wait for more questions from our viewers, tell us more about cybercrime support. Until we were preparing for this program, which I'm so glad we're doing, I had not heard much about your organization. So, share some more information with us.
Yeah, great. Glad to. So everything that we do at Cybercrime Support Network is free. So all of our resources are free and our programming is free. Our romance scam survivor peer support program is one of our free programs, which I think we'll talk about a little bit later. We also have a military and veteran program helping with specific cyber issues related to those in active service and veterans. We also have a Secure Together program assisting people in the community to secure their devices if they're less tech savvy and need some assistance. We've got some main things that they help people with, like applying two-factor authentication to your bank accounts if you're going to bank online, good password use and stuff like that. But what I'd like to let everyone know is when you get an opportunity, visit fightcybercrime.org. Click on there where you see I'm an individual and I need help with. Even if you do not currently are involved in some sort of a cyber crime or scam, check it out. We break everything down by crime type where you can follow and you can see the steps. You can go to those hyperlinks. We have a resource library out there with some great videos and reading material where you can learn all about cybercrimes and scams and the latest cybercrimes and scams. And we even have a second website called scamspotter.org where you can take a fun quiz to see if you can spot the scam.
Great. I just jotted down the website, so I'm sure a lot of people are doing the same thing.
And Linda, being an area agency on aging, I always say they're the first stop for whatever pertains to seniors. And so this is, I think, another great a resource for them to have. And ARP has a scam network that you can look, be a part of it to, as well. But we want to make sure to have as many resources as possible. And so if you would talk a little bit about the peer support for romance scam survivors. And I asked earlier about, do people get caught? And so one of the ways is when people don't talk about it and it is able to happen over and over and over. So talk a little bit about the peer support for romance survivors, scam survivors.
Absolutely. So if you know someone who has been a victim of a romance scam, or if you yourself have experienced a romance scam, you can participate in our peer support program. It is a 10-week program where we meet once a week, small groups of about 10 per group. And so it lasts for 10 weeks, 1 hour each week. About 15 minutes of that hour is spent on cyber education. We cover everything from how to set your privacy settings to how to recognize red flags, how to report, where to report, what to expect from reporting, how to do a Google reverse image search, which is something that someone can learn how to do when they're talking to somebody and they want to find out if that picture has been associated with any other type of scam. And so, so that's something that you can do right within your Google search. There's a little camera there, and you can upload a picture of the person you're talking to. And if that photo has been used in a scam, it's going to come up. And so that's great. So we teach these kinds of tools, and that's the first 15 minutes. And that's led by someone from CSN who is a retired attorney from the FTC. She does a great job. And then we partner with Give an Hour. And Give an Hour provides a licensed counselor for our program. They're also a 501c3 nonprofit. And they guide the last 45 minutes of each hour, talking about the emotional effects and support. And it's also guided by the peer members themselves, where they can speak with each other and talk about their stories. And so people can join just to listen, or you can join to share. You can join to learn about cyber, get some emotional assistance from the program. It's really whatever you feel comfortable with. You can join by video. It's done through Zoom. Or you can join by calling in and not showing your video or your name if you want to just, join anonymously.
That is so good to know. We really appreciate it. Go ahead, Justine.
No, it's just helpful. I would just concur and agree.
And I know that, Kim, you shared a lot of sites and resources and places people could go to report. So this program is recorded. People could revisit it at the AARP website link through YouTube or at Elder Source to re-listen to these tips and get those other resources that maybe we didn't have quite enough time to write down, although we did write down fightcybercrime.org for sure. So looks like we have another question from the audience, from the viewers. How do you join in Zoom?
Oh, sure. So how would you be able to join the peer support group?
Yes.
Yes. So if someone is interested in joining the peer support group, on our website, fightcybercrime.org, they can go to our programs, select the romance, the peer support program for romance scams. Once they're there, there's a little intake form for them to fill out, basic information. It's a referral form. It'll give us their name and their contact information. And then I will reach out to them. We'll discuss the program where, they can ask any questions. And then we start a group approximately every 10 weeks. We're starting a group. So right now, the group that we're in is heading into week 7. So we'll be starting a new group in about 4 weeks. And but then we, pick a date and time that's convenient for everyone, because people can come from anywhere in the United States. So we pick a time that works for that 10 group, and then we start the program. In the meantime, I do meet with them, hear their story, assess whether or not they could use some immediate resources. We're able to provide them with that. One of the things that we do ask when we talk to participants is how much of their personal information had they shared with the person that they were speaking with. Because oftentimes, at a minimum, they've shared, let's say, their birth date, their address, and their name. But many times they've shared their bank account information, doing bank transfers or sending a check, or sometimes even their social security number or their driver's license. And so this can lead to identity theft and other problems for them, even once they've stopped speaking to the scammer. And so one of the things, if I find out that that's something that they've done, I want to make sure that they've gone ahead and put an alert or a temporary freeze on their credit, that they're changing those account numbers. In talking to us, we kind of go through that process and see what kind of immediate resources they may need.
Wow. Go ahead, Justine.
It is very interesting. Have you all caught any of the romance scheme folks? Or I've heard about some different scams, really, really big sting operations. But do you often catch someone, or how does that work, or what's the frequency? How often do you all catch some of the criminals?
Sure.
Scam artists?
So, of course, we encourage people to report, even if they don't feel as though reporting is going to get them their money back. We encourage them to report because that reporting helps law enforcement officials put the pieces of the puzzle together. So they may not, the FBI isn't going to investigate every single report they get. I believe they get about 2,000 of these a day.
2,000 a day?
Yes.
Wow.
They're not able to investigate every single one. However, your report might be that key, that missing piece that connects to other people. And so they're able to bring to justice people who maybe have affected 50 or 100 of individuals. And so you never know that little piece of information that you've held on to, that you collected along the way, that gave them that clue to break that case. So it's really important to report. And they don't catch a lot of these guys and women. They don't catch them because oftentimes they're located overseas. And they're located in countries that may not be sharing that information with the United States. So it's difficult. And it's important to know that they work oftentimes in groups, in gangs of organized crime. And that's what a lot of this is. And the money is used to continue their criminal activity. So yeah, reporting is just so, so important. You never know what nugget you have in there that's going to help law enforcement.
So we have another question from a viewer. How much do you charge for your program? Do you charge for your services? And the person wasn't on at the beginning, so may have missed some of that.
No, great. Thank you for asking that. That's a great question. All of our programming is free and all of our resources are free. It's possible for us to do this through grants and through foundations that support us. And so the Romance Scam Survivor program is sponsored through the Financial Regulatory Education arm. So FINRA supports us in order for us to make this program free.
That's fantastic. I don't know about you, Justine, but I learned a lot of new things today.
So did I.
Oh my goodness. So another wonderful program for us. Kim, thank you so much for sharing your time and your information. And I'm sure people will be checking you out. We want to thank everybody for tuning in again. This is our last one for the year. It was a great year of information and fun and connecting. So thank you for joining. You could still go back to this session and our other sessions also that we recorded throughout the year by going to AARP Florida's YouTube channel and also Elder Source's YouTube channel. So please continue to check out the information. Thank you again, Justine.
Thank you so much for Let's Do Lunch and for joining us. And we hope to see you again. Thank you, Kim, and stay safe and have happy holidays. Thank you.